I was able to stack up 17,385 points for Damage Rocketeers as a solo raider, but you should be able to easily pass that score going well into the 20k level with the updated strategy I discovered midway through this challenge. I know it's not the biggest score in the world, but I promise the strategy that follows is going to be super helpful for maximizing the points you can get in this challenge. You're going to want to do this on Dam Battlegrounds during a night raid, and there is a couple specific pieces of equipment that you're going to need for this. For your weapons, I recommend bringing 2 Renegades and 1 Osprey, and make sure that you have a good silencer on at least one of your Renegades. For your equipment itself, you are also going to need a snap hook, or if you don't have a snap hook, zip lines. And if you do bring zip lines instead of a snap hook, you will also need a set of traps to go along with them. For my run, I used the hole cracker, but I learned there is a far more efficient way of doing this challenge with just the Silence Renegade that I will show you here as well. And I'm sure it goes without saying, but you are fighting Rocketeers here, so make sure that you have good shields, good shield rechargers, good health items to go along with you, as you're going to be fighting anywhere from 5 to 10 Rocketeers, depending on your rotation. Once you spawn in, you will want to make sure that you have a full game as a minimum, and if possible, you want to make sure the generator hall extraction is the last one that will be active on the map. Then make your way to the pipeline tower, which is just south of the power generation complex. Once you've arrived, you will want to equip your snap hook and position yourself to where the overhang ends and you can see the sky. Standing directly under the overhang's edge, snap hook at the top of the building and make sure you mantle once the hook attaches and pulls you to it. Or if you use a zip line, just use the zip line right there at that location and zip line up. You are now on the roof of the pipeline tower, and there is no other way to get up there except for the zip line if you brought that with you. If you did use a zip line to get on top of the tower, make sure you put your traps down at the end of it to prevent anybody from following you up onto the tower. Beyond that, the process here is super simple. You should be able to see all of the Rocketeers from this building. That said, the testing annex Rocketeer will be harder to see without an Osprey, a scope to zoom in. But if you don't have an Osprey, you can use the Renegades to pull the other 3 Rocketeers really easily. The control tower, the domes in the swamp, as well as the Rocketeer that patrols the generation hall's extraction. All 3 of those Rocketeers are well within the eyesight of the Renegade, so you can pull those 3. And then the testing annex is the 4th one if you do have that Osprey. There are technically 3 different methods that I did for this to figure out which one is really truly the best overall to use for this challenge. The first method is to use wolf packs. If you happen to have the wolf pack blueprint, then this is a very easy way for you to do this challenge. Wolf packs don't take a ton to create either, so I would recommend doing that if you happen to have this blueprint. I do not, but I did want to test just how much damage they do. It takes about 2 wolf packs to take down 1 full Rocketeer, which makes this a very, very easy challenge if you happen to have that. The second method is the now nerfed hole cracker and brute forcing your way through a fight with a Rocketeer. It takes a ton of hole cracker shots to wear a Rocketeer down, but it is an effective way to do it if you happen to be accurate with the hole cracker and are confident with using a high volume of those rounds. What I discovered though as I was going through this is I brought the Silence Renegade simply to pull the aggro of the Rocketeers from range and to keep my general location hidden from other raiders on the map. But what I've seemed to have figured out is that the Rocketeers have a very hard time figuring out where they're getting shot from when you're using a silenced weapon and have a lot of your body hidden behind some piece of cover. I had multiple Rocketeers that would just sit there and take shots from my Renegade, allowing me to just chip away at their thruster until it broke off completely. Once you break off 2 of their thrusters, they essentially become immobilized like a hornet and a wasp would, and they will just fall to the ground or fall to the roof that you're on, making it very easy for you to clean them up from there. Once it's crashed to your roof, simply just use your Renegade to destroy the 3rd or 4th thruster, and once you've destroyed at least 3 of the thrusters, it seems to just explode and is eliminated at that point in time. Additionally, just taking out a single thruster is enough to cause a Rocketeer to become immobilized and flipped on its head as well. It doesn't happen as often, but it is something that can happen for the Rocketeers, so you can essentially get a full elimination on 1 Rocketeer by taking out a single thruster with Renegade shots. So it's a very, very easy, very, very effective method to allow you to easily take out these Rocketeers in a safe way, preventing the most amount of damage and giving you the most value for the weapon that you're using. Once you've picked the method that works for you, all you need to do is just rotate between the 4 different Rocketeers that spawn across the map. Just aggro them to your location, break them down, and then in my experience, all of the Rocketeers ended up exploding and falling on top of the roof, which was great for me to be able to loot them. And don't forget that looting them gives you a lot of the things that you need to create stuff like shield rechargers, or even just give you the arc cells that you can use to regenerate 2 bars of your shield as well, simply just using those as they are. Beyond all that, keep in mind that Rocketeers have 2 moves total. The first is a normal single rocket that's fired after a laser points to where it's going to go. The second is a bit more aggressive. It's a volley of 3 rockets fired in rapid succession, usually as a Rocketeer is flying across the sky above you. You can survive a single Rocketeer rocket, but taking 2 will almost certainly cause you to go down, so make sure that you are very, very careful when you see the Rocketeer doing that triple volley attack. At about 3 minutes remaining, you want to start to look at the extraction to make sure that it's safe for you to move towards. From there, I recommend taking some time to scope out the power generation extraction, make sure that it's totally safe, and then once you have, you can either snap hook back down, you will take some damage from the fall, so be aware of that, or you can use a zip line to go back down and take no damage, or use the one that you placed originally. I recommend not extracting with anybody, even if you think they're friendly or they might be nice, because you've just scored a ton of points on this challenge and there is no need to risk it by putting your fate into the hands of another raider. So if you see somebody extracting, I recommend just waiting and letting them get out and then going and pushing the button before it hits 0 seconds on the clock. From there, simply just extract, get yourself back to Speranza, collect any loot that you have to collect, and then watch your score rocket up the leaderboard from scoring all of those Rocketeer kills. That's going to be it for me today, y'all. Thanks for watching.